All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our March 3rd broadcast. Can't believe it's March 3rd already. Let me know how the sound is. You guys can let me know. Oh, I see a couple of you already got your tickets in for the day. It's funny. One of the things I realized this morning, too, is I don't need to keep refreshing this to get the IG logo anymore since IG doesn't own 8X anymore. I was like so in the habit of, oh, I hate this one. This is bad. And obviously, crypto.com doesn't sponsor anything on Forex Factory, but I don't have to worry about that anymore. Not that I really had to worry about it before, but I was always trying to be, the nice guy. Um, so yeah, last 24 hours. Currency wise, not tons and tons of movement. You guys can see that I would say the biggest noteworthy mover on here is probably dollar CAD at minus 56. Pound yen at 63 is really not that much. That is not, you know, about what, a third of the daily ATR. So, or not a third, but about a little over two times, right? Would be the standard daily ATR. So it's okay. It's not anything earth shattering. The euro pound is showing what we're seeing again. European weakness, pound strength still. We're seeing pound strength versus the dollar. The euro, again, 11 is really nothing. 31 nothing. 55. That's probably the most noteworthy thing on here. And again, I guess Aussie dollar up 64. Mentioned one of the hot buttons that we were talking about before was going to be. Really kind of what was going to happen with their interest rate there, and the discussion of have they decoupled, the decoupling of you know the Aussie from gold, what was going to happen. And again, for the most part, gold was flat today, or is flat, was the last time I checked. But again, the CAD is recoupled to oil. Gold should be somewhat next. If when you see Harry Potter, you will make it a lot bigger and go through it. I can't make it a lot bigger because it's just there's unfortunately if I do it, it automatically scales, Carol. So there's not much I can do with it. But I can kind of draw it in like a black line. There's an example with the dollar CAD, so I can draw it in a black line and kind of show you what it is. Um, so today at 10 o'clock, obviously we know that we have Powell testifying again. Yesterday, provided some fireworks. He mentioned, hey, listen, he mentions 0.25 because he mentioned nothing in his prepared marks, but if he mentions the 0.25, which is less than what the market really kind of wants and expects, look for a rally, and that's exactly what we got. Came in, he literally mentioned it, and then it was off to the races for the rest of the day. So we are, a bit higher right now. We are up in kind of selling areas, although it's not fresh selling. The most recent comment we just got was this one right here. That basically, I guess I don't know. It says Putin aiming to seize whole of Ukraine, macro aid after Putin call. So I don't know if it's the aide that's saying this, like if he was listening on the conversation. I'm not exactly sure. But the worst is yet to come. I mean, Ukraine, I don't know. I mean, Putin has been pretty clear that he's going to, he wants to replace the government. He's not there to kill the people, right? He wants the people on their side. But I thought from the very, very beginning his mission was really just to replace the government with somebody, somebody that's more pro-Russian, right? That was kind of the plan originally. And everybody said that, so I'm not sure why it's kind of news out there, but yeah. Um, I thought this was an interesting article out this morning as well. A Russian oil and gas embargo is on the cards, and analysts warn it has huge consequences. And it's kind of funny. It just kind of shows our selfishness and everything. It says, we're putting, massive sanctions on there, but we have yet to touch, the gas and energy. A warning that such a move would have seismic repercussions for oil and gas markets around the world, right? It says the Western sanctions imposed on Russia over the invasion have so far carefully constructed to avoid directly hitting the country's energy exports, although there are already signs that there's measures of So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, well, we need the oil really, really bad, so we're not going to touch the oil. But their cash cow, it just happens to be oil. So it's really, really funny, right? That and again, it's funny. We have sanctions, their banks can't do things and there can't be settlements and all that, but we're still going to purchase their oil. But what are we purchasing it with, right? So, and again, Russia's not ready to just collapse now. I mean, they have massive resources. I mean, they have like $600 billion or something like that in like cash and gold reserves. So, I mean, they have a lot there, but it just shows you that, hey, listen, you know, only, and I made this joke earlier, OnlyFans is allowed to ban Russian models, right? We can go after the civilians there and say, you should stand up to your government. Okay. But again, we're not going to mess with oil because that's their cash cow. Because oil would affect us. Like we don't want to hurt them with oil. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of hypocritical in my eyes. but really kind of low. The other thing we've heard too is Russia's using illegal weapons, which is actually false. That is improper information. Just if anybody saw that out there, that Russia is using vacuum bombs. It's okay. Vacuum bombs are not illegal. The United States uses them. So anybody that thinks that that is wrong, don't think that they are illegal. They're saying they use them against civilian targets. Well, us cutting off OnlyFans models from Russia, that is us targeting civilians. So again, get off your high horses if you think that we're not doing the same exact thing that they are. Does that say it? That's just to be clear. I do not support the invasion. I think we should have militarily supported the Ukraine. I think our response has been weak. I don't. I think with somebody like that, we should have advanced forward. And again, if he's going to use nuclear weapons, he's going to use nuclear weapons. I think he's completely unhinged. And yeah, I think the dude's crazy. But I think we should have been clear from the very beginning. If he rolls a tank, we roll a tank. And again, that's not us. That's not us invading Russia. That is us matching stand. Stand for stand. We should stand up. And again, the fact that we just put, we're going to sanction the heck out of him, but we're not going to touch the oil because that affects us, I think is very hypocritical. So we'll see. Oil's been kind of a wild ball today. It's been kind of crazy. Yeah. So, and I don't know if you guys saw it or not. Even Ukrainians were kind of like, they were so disappointed at the State of the Union speech, basically of what he said, that Ukrainians are now getting a bad taste in their mouth about the United States. So we're not winning any allies there with the Ukrainians. So, we can send weapons, but you're not going to support us. We're going to they're like, basically what we woke up to after hearing that speech is the United States is going to allow murder of Ukrainian citizens. I was like, yeah, you could look at it that way. So yeah, there's not many Ukrainians thanking America at this point. So yeah, kind of interesting. Anyway, tomorrow morning, today ISM services, PAL testifying, I think is obviously going to be at risk. Tomorrow morning is going to be non-farm. So I expect that this afternoon will get a little bit slower, just in preparation for what we see tomorrow. All the numbers are all expected to be good. Unemployment rate, they expected it to go down last time, right? That was the forecast, and it actually went up a little bit. I wouldn't actually be surprised if it drops back down to 3.9 if there was an adjustment showing that there was really no difference. And again, remember, the unemployment rate is not really a true gauge right now. People that are out of the job arena, this number is incorrect. And I know there's some people that say, no, it is. It's like, no, it's not. Because if I decided suddenly on my own, I told my wife, I say, hey, listen, I want to get a job again, um, that information doesn't get passed anywhere. I would not be included in that number, which shows you that it is an inaccurate number, right? If somebody said, I'm going to start working on my resume, they're not in there, right? So the true unemployment rate is not correct. The utilization rate would be a better one to look at. So people will look at this and be like, it's going down. No, it's not. It's not. It's kind of holding firm, and it's not actually accurate. Now, net farm, obviously, the non-farm payroll employment change, obviously that is jobs hired back, but again, we're building back jobs that we lost from having a global pandemic. So it's not that we're building above and beyond that yet. We're not at that stage. So it's great to see positive numbers, but this is what you expect. I mean, we're literally, everybody's just, now the jokes are that, who is it? DeSantos is a bully because he told kids, he's like, hey, listen, you can take your masks off. He wasn't rude about it. He just told them to take their masks off. Nationwide, we're telling kids to take masks off. So, and of course, it gets spun in a really negative light, but it is what it is, whatever. We're coming out of a pandemic. This number you would expect to see this high. Now, if it is lower, if it's at like a 200,000, then it's kind of like, well, wait a second, we're not hiring back as fast. Because right now, the only thing that PAL is saying is we're not going 0.5 because the labor market is tight. The labor market, right? It was transitory, and then the next catchphrase is labor market. So, yeah, if 800,000 people get hired back again, then you're going to look at PAL and be like, yo, I thought you said the labor market was bad. We're hiring people twice as fast as what you expected. What is it, right? So, if anything, maybe he knows a little bit. Obviously, he knows what the non-farm number is already. He is the guy that is in the know. So did he slip? Did he give us kind of a foreshadow of, is this number not going to be as good as expected? Maybe it's possible. But if it comes in at 800,000, everybody's going to be like, yo, you just said the labor market. What are you doing? So, yeah, I don't think, I think if anything, it'll be a little bit, because of what he said, it's kind of like, we'll see. But again, that's always a big mover. Non-farm is one of the biggest movers out there. We'll see what it's able to do. If any of these numbers is disappointing, it should be a great day for the overall indices. Should end on a high. And like I said, maybe we'll get some type of a peace deal. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. At this point, it's just, like I said, it's one of those Dungeon and Dragon, like, I don't know if it's 12 or 16 or what it is. How many sided dice? I know it's more than 6, right? Whatever they are, right? He's rolling the dice every morning. Okay, what do we do today? What do we say today? Um, yeah. And that's it. I mean, there's just not really, you know, defense minister, they're sending 2,700 anti-aircraft missiles to be sent to the Ukraine. Okay, great. Um, sure, that works. Germany is spending a lot of money on war tools again. So, China is basically in cahoots, and they're like, "Yep, we're in agreement." They're, I don't know. I wouldn't say any of these are earth shattering at this point. If you want to see kind of a funny speech, go ahead and click on this article right here. We're ready for dialogue based on mutual respect. The Google translator did not work well in here or I don't know if it was Google or Twitter or what it was, but it's funny hearing some of the kind of the speeches like, what did he just say? That doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't. I'm not even going to click on it, but it's like, we don't escalate to de-escalate. I'm like, so does that mean you're using nuclear weapons? What does that mean? We don't escalate to de-escalate. It's part of our doctrine. It's like, okay, your doctrine for real war, fake war. So it'll leave your head scratching. You'll be like, what the heck did he just say? So, and again, it's funny. They find the grumpiest, and it just shows you. I mean, I'll click on it just so you can see the picture. It just shows you how, the propaganda of these websites. Of course, they find the grumpiest picture, right? Like if you had to draw a stereotypical cold-hearted Russian, what picture would you use? Of course, it's one that the guy is really grumpy looking, right? It's just funny. It's funny how that works out. Like the guy may look nothing like that, but it's like, let's get the grumpiest picture. Angry Russian. So I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, sharp activity, economic conditions, got it. And then again, he wants to see the whole thing. I think from the beginning, I mean, it's some of these headlines. I love headlines sometimes because it's kind of like, well, thank you for stating the obvious out there. So, all right. Do you think that Americans will be willing to pay more for gas if we sanction Russia? Oh, hell no. Absolutely, 100% correct, Ernest. You nailed it on the thing. Exactly. Yeah, it should have. Yeah, they should have actually done it in the past. Yep. 12, 8. Yeah, I don't know which one you want. If it's 8, 10, 12, 20. I don't even know, Neuro, to be honest with you. But yes, Ernest, you're absolutely 100%. And again, it goes back to the hypocrisy. Like I said, I don't understand because it's like, hey, listen, we're gonna block OnlyFans models in Russia because because the young 21, 19-year-old is supporting Putin. Yeah, okay, sure. But how can we cut off that person's income and not be like we're targeting civilians, right? Like they just did the same thing. The European Lacrosse League is basically just banned all Russian teams. It's like, what if those guys were I mean, it's like, how do you tell somebody that you're no longer allowed to earn a living, even if you don't support your current regime? You can protest, sure, but what do you want them to do? Are you trying to tell them that the Russian lacrosse team that you should stage a coup? Like, come on. Really? And now these people are losing their livelihoods because of an administration. They may not even support the administration. Like, I don't. You're going after the civilians, telling them to stand up to it. It's like, how is that not a form of terror in its own right? Right? Stand up to them, or you're not allowed to earn a living. I don't know. But yet we won't touch gas, right? We won't touch Russia's the government's cash cow. It makes no sense to me, right? It's unbelievable. Anyway, Aussie. So we're getting that Aussie strength, right? So yesterday we talked about 72, 73. We were sitting right where are we at? March 2nd. We were sitting right around here yesterday, right? And we had a drop, we had a pull down, we were waiting for another Harry Potter trade, but this top zone we knew was going to break eventually. And we had our 1, we talked about our 2, we talked about our 3 hit. And again, once we get that base in 4, off to the races. And Carol, here's an example. Whoops. Here's an example of the Harry Potter trade, right? There's your base. Any of the Harry Potter trades are basically, you have a zone, right? There's your zone. You have a break of that zone. And again, for it to work, it had to have been a zone in the past. This was obviously a selling zone in the past. Seller stepped in, seller stepped in, seller stepped in, seller stepped in. Zones do not last forever, okay? When a zone breaks, when there's a violation of the zone, what you're looking for is a break through the zone, and it can be up or it could be down, right? It could be down, and that's the scenario we're looking for here was the base, and we're looking for a push down, right? And then what we're looking for is a retest to the zone. Right? You're looking for a retest to the zone. Okay. And then you're looking for it. And what that retest does is it gives you the zone as the level of risk. And then you're looking for the punch higher or the punch lower. Okay. Now, again, why it's called a Harry Potter? Because again, If you look to see what Harry has on his head, it is a lightning bolt, right? I think there's actually a lightning bolt in here somewhere. Thought there was a lightning bolt in here. I know there is one. I had it in the past. I clicked it once and I was trying to get it to like flip, but it wouldn't flip in there. But anyway, oh, there it is. I just saw it. Whoop, not that one. I'm sitting right in the middle, right there, right? You have that lightning bolt, right? All it is it looks like this, right? There's your lightning bolt. Comes down, comes back, uses that level, and then boom, the zinger off the side. And again, that's why it's called a Harry Potter, because Harry has a lightning bolt on his head. So you can't sanction Russia without affecting its citizens. Yeah, you're right. I don't think that's true, Ernest. I mean, you can. I mean, again, the oligarchs are now all parking their super yachts in Maldives. You know, I think absolutely. I would say that Russia and China are one of those things that you actually can target the countries without the citizens. Now, is it 100% secure? Like, is it 100%? Are the citizens 100% protected? No. But because they have state-run companies and state-run organizations, and people are, beneficiaries of the organization that is leading it, yes, you can absolutely go after them, right? But to go after the average Joe's income, no. Like, an example, if you have a private company, right? There's not many private companies in China, right? But if you had an airline in China, right, and the government got nothing from that company, you wouldn't attack that company, right? But if it is a state-run corporation, right, if it is a state-owned, which again, think back to like Venezuela, they own like a lot of the oil companies. In Russia, again, some of these rich oligarchs that have benefited, yes, you can absolutely go after the rich oligarchs. But the average Joe on the side of the road, no, you can't attack them. So it's impossible. It's impossible to make it perfect. But again, Russia and China, the form of like communist government, they own their state-owned companies are controlling so much of the wealth. You can absolutely attack the assets, bank seizures. Like I said, the oligarchs are pissed now because the United States says, "Oh, you know what? We're going to go seize your super ships because you got them in from ill-gotten gains." It's like, I don't know. Do they have any legitimate income? Because if they do, I feel like if we're going to suddenly start going in and taking in international waters, if we're going to start taking ships, it's like, doesn't that make us pirates? So, yeah, it'll affect the common employee, but not all of them, Ernest. That's a thing. Yeah, it will, right? It will. There's no perfect solution for it. But like I said, I mean, I joke about the OnlyFans thing. Blocking all Russian models from being able to earn their income on OnlyFans. What does that have to do with, how are OnlyFans models supporting Putin? Are they the oligarchs that Putin's friends with? No. I mean, I guess OnlyFans has reinstated them, but I mean, come on, really? I mean, this is the headlines that you see out there, like that was a direct attack on, the general public. And again, large companies, but at the end of the day, Ernest, the guys those common employees that work for that company, are they the ones that are getting all the true profits? Not really. I mean, what? They get 2% of the profits of that company. So, it's not, Russia is not a communist society or not a, capitalistic society like we have here. Their economy was already struggling as it was. So, but you can absolutely attack. I mean, an oligarch's money. We got bank accounts where? Can we take that money? Yep. Yes, we can. So, but anyway, Carol, that's what it is. So again, great Harry Potter example. This one had the exact same thing. It broke through a zone that got hit 4 times. It based, it pulled back, and boom, it took off to the top side. And again, we were looking for Australia to, again, go higher. We talked about it the other day when we had news. We were looking for it to go higher. It pulled back. We do have the Harry Potter still set up when we have a break of 72. What is it? 72.42. I don't know when it's going to hit, but again, that's why we have an alert sitting there. We know that there's a level sitting there, and we're looking for the same type of break. The same way that this one broke to the top side. Again, we have a level of basing that's been hit more than 4 times. We're looking for it to break back to the downside. We just leave it on the chart. It just sits there until next time. So right now, looking for something on the top side, you can see that really the next kind of clean zone, like right now, here was another kind of turning point that we had. Price is sitting right here right now. So it's got a little bit of chop to go through, and then we have a level that's come up here. It's not a fresh level. It's been hit a few times, but it's going to be the next kind of major level that we need to watch out for. So let's drag this across. Actually, there's 2 we should probably drag. Here and here. Now, question is, how many times have we hit it? Looks like this is hit number 3. So it's not. I would prefer it if it was a hit number 2, not hit number 3. But we kind of hit it, created a new level inside of there that's been hit twice. So I'd say those would be the two levels we watch out for. Okay. And they're kind of stacked on top of each other. So it's kind of 73.61 with more of a refined kind of level at 73.64. So I mean, again, within close proximity of each other. If you're looking for a way to kind of take this when we do get up there, it's probably 28 pips away. So again, depending on what Pal says in the next half hour to an hour, again, a lot of the dollar weakness is in. We're kind of set for a reversal. I don't know if we're going to get all the way up until in that time. So but if you were looking for something in that range, I mean, this is what it would kind of look like. Probably along those lines, pulling it down to about this level here, right? And again, if this does nothing but spike up, it's a parabolic move. It's a great parabolic retracement trade setup. So it is in that kind of same range, and it depends on how aggressive you want to be. Um, you can say European market 4 o'clock right here, 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's been straight up. So it is kind of set up for a reversal. I don't know when it's going to come in, but those would be the levels I was looking for, and vice versa, looking for a break down below. Okay. Um, also, again, looks exactly the same, right? And again, we knew we had some touches. We had one, we had two, we kind of had three, and it based back and forth. And again, this one stayed in, pulled in, and 3 to 4 is where they tend to break, and that's what it did. It pulled back, found some more buyers, and took off. So, we don't need the level anymore. The good trade already came out of it. We're gonna pull it off right now. Let's extend some fibs. Actually, that's pretty decent. Um, all right, so if we can get that reversal, like we're seeing in the Aussie dollar, if we can get that reversal, I would say watch out for two small levels here on the downside. One of them being right here, right? Again, basing level, strong push, a base, a strong push, and then a base and a takeoff. And then we also have one sitting at the 50. And again, that's going to be where algos step in and start trading as well, right there. So we're kind of set, and you can see that if we adjust, we're kind of, if we come up a bit higher, we can actually look at that. The 50 and the 61 will bisect the center of both those two if we come all the way up. So depending on how much more this can rise, actually, you know what? Let's draw that. We're going to put that right there. How many pips is that? Is that 30? That's about 54, so it needs a little bit more than that. That would be an interesting setup right there. And again, this is that forecasting with fibs. A little bit trickier to do, but that would show us two levels here that algo traders would end up stepping in and be able to go kind of give us long opportunities. So right now, let's see, where are we at? We do have a level sitting there. All right, let's bring this over. What is it? 85.10. All right, let's see if that changes much. Let's see, how close is that one? Ooh, that's 30 pips. All right. I was hoping we get that in there perfect, but we may not. It's close. It's really, really close. All right. Let's mark that one off. That's a level that we've had in the past, 85.10 or 85.09. It is about 30 pips, the same movement we need in the Aussie dollar. So again, with Pal speaking, and he goes on in 2 minutes, and then he'll talk for the next half hour. There's probably a reversal trade here as well. I'd like to see some basing in there. Ultimately, I'd like to take that as a 10-30 reversal back to the downside. And again, with the way that it's popping right now, profit target, we have more than enough room to the downside for a 1 to 3 base trade. If you're looking to take that zone here, you can see that 1 to 3 is our minimum range. We got plenty of room to take this one to the downside. But again, if we can get that with that 10-30, that'd be cool. And again, later on down the road, if we end up pushing all the way up to 85.45, look at that. We have one zone at the 50, one at the 61.8, both set up if we can get up all the way up to this level. And that would be sitting up here, which would be awesome for forecasting purposes if we can get to 85.64. So that would be kind of cool. All right, Euro pound. So Euro pound, as I mentioned, it's just been super choppy, right? We were talking about this not as a buy level. We didn't really like it because, again, all it was a stab down. It stabbed down 2 or 3 times. You can see that we have another stab in, and again, kind of basing. So it is kind of forming here, and I would say that we have a lot of news coming in tomorrow. I am more on the fence of this is a short position, but I don't love the Euro pound to trade right now. You guys can see the Euro pound in 24 hours has done 26. It's kind of going in the same Euro weakness, pound strength, but it hasn't been really clean. Is it? Can you say it's really been trending since the European market opened? European market was here. Answer is no. A lot of that 26 pips worth of movement happened from yesterday afternoon till the European session. There was an Asian session move when neither of these countries was open. And now since that time, we've kind of stabilized a little bit. So I don't know. It's you can say it's minus 0.07. So yeah, not really, not the ideal candidate, right? Not the ideal candidate. So Kip is next to me asleep. We're gonna see if he stays asleep this whole time. Euro yen. So Euro yen, we talked about a pullback to a fib level. It was just shy. It was kind of a front run. And again, this is an example of algo stepping in. 11:30 yesterday, right? 11:30 yesterday, price spiked up and grabbed that 50%. Okay, it did pull back down and kind of made another attempt around 2 o'clock, and then it started to roll away. I don't think it's out fully yet. Let me see. Let's see. One, two. Oh, I guess it is actually. It is officially out now. So the 1 to 3 is complete from that, and that was an easy top to bottom draw on it with a 50% retracement. It was just shy of our zone. So again, had we done that one with zones, we knew this was an old level. The yellow here was drawn from this previously violated level, right? We had our 1, had our 2, had our 3, had our 4, expected it to break. It did break. It never gave us that pullback for the Harry Potter trade. It just went all the way to full profit. And then it finally came up and grabbed that zone. So again, I mentioned it yesterday. If you like fibs, you like, the Harry Potters, again, that would have been an entry for you. It actually didn't hit your 50%. It got super, super close. But again, because the 50 was in close proximity to that same violated zone, we were looking to get an entry. And actually, this should be right there. Actually, there to there. So I'm off by a little bit. Hold on. Let's readjust. There. Yeah. It's still out at 3. Oops. Oh, actually, I guess it's not. It's close. 305. There you go. There's perfect. So it's super, super close. It's about to go through. So if you're not in it right now, you're not getting in for this last little kind of pit. So yeah, I just need to do that slight adjustment. So again, that was from yesterday. If you guys are, in, you guys are probably good. I think you only need like what, 3? Oh, I guess you need 10 more. So you're close. You're close. But that was a nice little. Oh, actually, you know what? I think we are out. 3 is right there. Oh, it got super close. The pipette grabbed it. Yeah, it was a pipette trade, but you're super close to getting out of it now. Let's see, you missed it by 1.8. Sorry, you missed it by 1.8, and you're 6 pips away right now. So it's about to hit its full profit target from yesterday's 11 a.m. speech. Okay, euro dollar. So Eurodollar, we were talking about a rally up on this one. We still haven't seen really the European strength kick in. They're still kind of waiting to see what's happening. We talked about a level here. We really weren't looking for much with it. Again, spike in, hit, spike in, spike in. So it's definitely an area of buyers. We did not place a trade setup on it yesterday, just based off of the speeches we had coming, and we were really waiting for we were waiting for something a little bit stronger from Powell. Maybe we get it today, but again, a strong Powell speech will help drive this lower. What we got from Powell yesterday was right here. And what did he say? Yeah, the 0.25 looks good, which is the immediate spike out of that level. It did what it should have done. There's nothing else really to say about it. Is there a great trade setup in it right now? Not really. This was a zone that we had marked off, but it was so far back. It'd been such a long time, and it really wasn't the best of levels to start off with. I'm really looking for something decent in this one. I just don't have it. I'd love to say that there's a great trade in here, but I just don't. Not much that we can see. In this case, the best one, if you wanted to draw a fib on it, and now that we have a new bottom and it's kind of pulling back, you could look at a 50, and there is a basing level right around here at the 50 level. It's a little bit tested, but it's quite a large area for this one. Then I would say that's about your only really high quality entry. I wouldn't use this level here, right? It's been touched 1, 2, 3 times, and it did get front run, but not many probably sellers left in there. So I mean, if anything, I'm waiting until it comes back up to 111.70. So got about 100 pips to go on the top side, and none of this in here shows me strong conviction. And same thing down below, not really strong conviction either way. So yeah, I mean, today I'm actually assuming that we get more of a hawkish tone out of Powell, because yesterday was more dovish, and he likes to maintain fair balance. So, I'm looking for more of a down, but I don't have a great entry on it. Pound dollar. So pound dollar yesterday, we talked about a 154, really a 155 entry on this one. We had the 61.8 there. It ended up coming up and tagging, just going right above the 168 and starting to roll back over. We are looking for this one to kind of come through and break. So let's remove this just so we don't confuse everybody on it. We had the sellers here. We had the pullback. And then again, everybody understands why this went higher. Pal said 0.25. And again, that's what drove it up to this level that was tested. With that said, we did have one touch here. You could say that this is two. This is number guaranteed two. This is number three. So again, it did break out of the top. This would have been more one of those kind of call spread type scenarios, right? As we're coming back up again. It was after hours. I mean, really, we drove up to this level late last night around what, 6 p.m. We were there. European session didn't start till here, right? So European session, all it did was basically head straight down. So this was more of a short trade. If you're looking for kind of potential targets now, I'd say this level here is in close proximity, at least to the 50, right? We could draw a zone here and say, hey, listen, that's not only a 50% retracement. Unfortunately, right now, because we should be in a short trade, this is a target first. Could we take a bounce off of 53.89? Sure, absolutely. Algos will step in right around 153.95, so about 6 pips early. But again, the zone with a one candle bottom with ascending wicks, love that formation and a strong burst out of it. And then it is nestled right in between the 50 and the 61.8. So I would say that it's probably going to be a buy area. But again, we need to get a bounce off of it. It's going to be a confirmation entry. It's going to be a target first. So if you're short, look for right around that level to be kind of getting out before pound strength comes back in. Now, again, can this get jacked around by Powell? Absolutely. The yen is obviously the proxy for the Dow. So, the good thing is, I'd say the good thing is, Powell's not going to make any comments about sanctions because that's out of his job arena. So we don't have to worry about that. It's just purely going to be interest rate discussions. But, we'll see. What are the Russell's 88 already? Yeah, Russell's accelerating. VIX is still down though. Let me see. Has Powell said anything yet? No, not yet. We don't see any headlines yet. All right, so we'll see if that comes through. Pound dollar. So pound dollar, kind of doing what we expected it to do. It didn't quite get back up for another entry at the 134. It already hit 1, 2, and 3 times, so it really wasn't another great entry for what we were looking for. It had the same thing. Here is the kind of 230 candle. It was already starting to push back down again. If we switch this around, let's pull this near-term one off. We'll leave the larger scale one on, and we're going to pull this up. You can see that there is a basing right there, right around the 50, but I don't like this one as much. It's a little bit early, and again, the algos will kick in right after what the zone is, so not really into this one as much. I'd say the next time I'd be looking for any type of like true buying would be much lower. Down here, let's put a price tag on that one. That would be 132.90. Up top, like I said, there are zones in here. There are retests of all these areas here. But again, you have your 1, you have your 2. You basically have your 1, your 2, your 3, and then this is your 4. So it's not really algo is an algorithm. It's a computer. Okay. I'd say these are probably our next 2 levels. 130. I really don't want to leave this one red and extend it across because it's been hit a bunch of times at this point and it pushed pretty deep. So I don't think this one will hold. I think probably the next potential area for shorts would be 134.90. 134.90 up top in this one. And again, obviously, if Powell makes some type of inflammatory comment, this absolutely can fly. And I do think yesterday, I think Powell has to say something a little bit more inflammatory today, which again, I think leads us more to the downside than anything else. Okay. Again, first time, let's see, how far is that away? 77 pips down to that level. You guys can see what's the daily right now on this one? The daily's 97, but that's a little bit inflated right now. It's probably about 80. Yeah, we basically have about a day's worth of movement. I'm curious. Let's see. I'm going to draw this on here. Let's look for 3 a.m. tomorrow, right there, coinciding with the news here. Let's put a, whoops, not that, vertical line, car registration, chips rates. Let me see. Construction PMI, retail sales. I was hoping it was better, something better than that. Hmm. I'm wondering if this continues to track down. Wondering if we track down till tomorrow, and then this is a long opportunity, right? Kind of a news based long tomorrow morning. I guess it depends on what Pal says. If Pal nukes this one and shoots us up, obviously it's not in play. If Pal helps us and brings us dollar strength back in, I think this is a decent setup for tomorrow morning. So they can kind of end the week on a positive note. Kind of lining up, again, time factors involved. It is a level. Again, it's 77 pips. It's about one ATR away, a little bit less than one ATR away. I wouldn't say that today is really earth shattering. It's 0.23. I'm sorry, 0.32 down right now. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I'd say probably a European session open trade if you're up late for that one. Dollar CAD. So, Dollar CAD. Yesterday we were sitting here when we talked. I mentioned that again. This Harry Potter's been on for a while. There was an alert set in there, and you can see the alert broke through the 126.48, 126.11. Again, easy Harry Potter. Again, maybe you got into this one. It went down and kind of came back up, so maybe not. If not, you got it here. Drop through a violated zone. There's your base. There's your pullback, and boom, all the way to your full profit target. And you can see it's well beyond. We had the target at 126.11. It ended up going down to 125.88. It was a 1 to 5 trade, so much bigger than what the expectation was. And we just bounced off of again pushing lower. I think a lot of this is going to depend on what Pal says as well. I think that I feel like after Pal's weakness comments yesterday, I feel like he has to say something that's a little bit more strong today. Um, that kind of helps us burst through. And remember, the Harry Potter short has already occurred. It's already gone in. We've already had the confirmation entry on it. Typically, these zones don't last as long. They don't last 4 hits because they're already a break and it's just a reversal position. So, you know, I'd love to say, hey, take this short again. It's not really what the rules are. The rules are really kind of you hit it one for the Harry Potter, not two. There's another level established there, so I guess you could, but let's see if there's anything fib wise that we should watch out for. Not really. There's a little zone sitting right here, which happens to be riding a fib line. So maybe that is the next maybe that's the next little pullback. If we can get a little bit of strength coming in, maybe that's where we roll after Powell speaking today. So yeah, maybe it's all right. But I think he really needs to. I think he needs to bring some dollar strength back into the market today after the comments yesterday. So we'll see. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss. We talked about this level yesterday. Came up. It ended up peaking right through the top of it at about 10:30. And again, very very risky to be able to take a zone like this. This is one of those ones where you wait for confirmation. Again, we knew we had Powell speaking. We knew everything was going on. It kind of put a new level in up top. And again, it was kind of we were looking for something around one of these levels, right? The 50 kind of pulled back down, but we didn't like the 50%. There was no telltale sign right here, right? This yellow actually should be here. And again, we did this on a 30, not a 15, but there's where the actual zone should be. And you can see it still did peek its head right out the top, right? It did peek its head out the top just by a little tiny bit. But again, with a little bit of risk on this one, this was right at 10 o'clock, 10 like 10:30ish when Powell was speaking. Not typically the best way to take it when it's just kind of a small low zone like that with only one test. So, had you taken it with something like Nadex, yeah, it did roll all the way back down again. It did roll down. So again, depending on your broker, you may or may not have gotten stopped out. It was very, very tiny. What was it? It was a 1.7, right? 1.5 is what that went over. At least at Oanda, the spread is, it's close. The spread at Oanda is a 1.6. It fluctuating between 1.5, 1.6. That pop through is a 1.8. So yeah, you probably would have got stopped out with your buffer, right? Depending on if the spread widened off for Powell speech. So, if anything, again, if you're looking for a confirmation of a reversal, there's your pullback. There's your pullback in. there's your same type of confirmation entry where it hit a level, it pulled down, right? It based, and then it pulled back up to use that level. So had you taken the level here, you guys can see you're well out with your 1 to 3. Okay. And again, that's just trying to get a little bit extra confirmation in a time of news. That's all that is doing. Pound yen. All right, so pound yen. We talked about it reversing down. We really weren't interested in taking it short off of this level, and it pulled back a little bit, but not even a 1 to 1. It went higher, and we ended up missing the top a little bit before it rolled. But 115. Let's go back to a 30-minute. You can see the 115.86 is the level we were looking for. I do think there's an interesting spot right here. Is this something that we're going to take short? I don't know. I'd really like to hear what Palace has to say first. Like I said, I think he could. There's a lot of zingers that he could get today that really could kind of lead this down. And again, this is a hard one because it has the dollar and it has a proxy for the Dow, which is the stock market. So kind of a rougher one to play. I think there's better things out there. I think the Aussies are better. I think the Euro positions are better. Dollar yen, I think, is going to be a little bit more challenging today. So here, buddy, here, here, eat your fox. Here, get your fox. He woke up from his little nap. He's got his little chew toy. So yeah, I mean, you can see, guys, it's 0.04 in 24 hours. The dollar yen has moved 13. Not really in my list of things. All right, here we go. I love this one. The situation in Ukraine adds uncertain to the economic outlook. Really? The potential is that large rise in energy prices, supply chain issues continue for longer, increases chance of high inflation getting embedded in the U.S. society. Wow, imagine if they would have taken care of inflation last year. That would not have been an issue. The Fed's mission is to reduce the combination at the rate required to bring inflation under control. Okay. Um, Starting with 25 and further increases coming and puts us in a good position. This makes it even more critical for the Fed to act. Yeah, so it looks like she's also going with the weak aspect of it, trying to use basically Ukraine as, again, the excuse. Nothing that we have in the United States. I mean, they're saying high energy costs, but okay, so do something about energy. Um, yeah, yeah. I love the fact that it's going to be embedded. So get used to that $4 a gallon for gas, guys. Get used to it. I don't need all that in there. Let me see if there's anything else. Semi-annual. I was looking for more comments from Pal, but I don't have it yet. Just messed her. Yeah. All right. So yeah, watch that one. And again, the market is kind of unfazed by it so far. We'll see. Yeah, the market is not super happy with it. All right. Let's go up and actually let's do oil first. So oil took this absolutely huge kind of push to the downside. And again, really since yesterday at 10:30 from the oil inventory report, we had that drive up, and as we should have. It was a down draw. It wasn't as bad as what the API number was, but it rallied all the way up, gave us the top that we were looking for. We finally got a decent top and a base below it, right? Base below it, and then we got the pullback. And from 8 o'clock this morning, huge collapse, but now it's starting to stabilize. Now, what makes oil an interesting situation, right, is if you do take the high from the overnight to the low right now, you can see we're sitting right at the 50% retracement mark. Okay. So Messer's already talking about how high energy prices could only get worse. Like the only thing, like unfortunately, the biggest way to hurt Russia is also the biggest way that hurts us. Okay. If they do announce energy sanctions, this thing is going up, right? Saying that we're not going to do it, also going down. And remember, we can put sanctions on Russian oil, but remember, Russia also has the ability to do what? Limit their production, right? There happens to be another country out there that already said that they would purchase oil directly from that country, right? China. China has a large economy, right? If they can get oil at a discount through Russia, they're going to do it. Yeah, because the interesting thing about China, particularly with oil, is China owns a lot of companies in the Middle East now, oil companies. They're not going to not sell oil to themselves, right? They can talk about oil embargoes and everything, but if Russia signs an exclusive agreement with China and can supply China with plenty of that, it messes our world up, but it doesn't mess their world up. So interesting spot. Like I said, computers are going to be looking at this going, oh my God, it's a 50%. Look at this, 50% retracement. Look at this. There's a wick over wick sitting right there. Oh my gosh, we should be shorting oil. Answer is maybe. Like I said, I think energy is obviously the area that there's the most inflation in. Unfortunately, that's also the area the Fed can do absolutely zero about. Um, yeah. So again, if you guys like to be super aggressive, right now there's technically there's a technical short in oil, right? And again, with the morning we've seen, could it go lower? And it's it's crazy. Oil's at 111. We're like, yeah, there's a short in oil, but it was it was up to almost 117 earlier today, right? Um, and it's what I find funny, right? What I find funny about oil companies and the price of oil, if you guys remember back to like, I got out of college in 1999, right? So I've been through kind of the tech bubble crash, the housing bubble crash. It was interesting in 2000, I believe it was 2008, right? The last time the gas was like super, super high. Exxon, you guys know who Exxon is, right? They announced with like $1 billion of profit. Everybody's like, how are they making more money than they've ever made before? When the rest of it's interesting how much money's in this, and they're not even talking about how much money the oil industry is actually making. Yeah, there's a lot of inflation in it, but remember, right? Oil is now at 111, right? The United States kind of produces more oil than anybody. So, right? It's a global thing. Does that mean our oil companies are making more money than ever? Probably. Nobody wants to talk about that, but probably, right? Probably. So that's our buddy James. Go to James. Like, James, what does the profit look like for an oil? If you have, how much money are you making from that pump in your backyard right now, right? How much money are you making? So, yeah, James is cycling back from shine back to oil again, right? It's more profitable to go oil than shine again. So we'll see. He's changing his profit around. So yeah, anyway, there's a technical short there. Natural gas, we mentioned yesterday. We'll go back up to the 30. Um, a level we've been looking to take shorts off of was 488. You can see at about what 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:30, we hit that level. We ended up hitting it again, and then the overnight Europeans stepped in at 3 o'clock. We were still in the zone. It did not breach the top, straight down. So any of you guys that were trading natural gas yesterday with us, or we talked about it. Like I said, I know not that many people trade natural gas. But our 1 to 3 was sitting right there. You can see we're well beyond the 1 to 3. So any natural gas traders, there you go. It was a great level. But it's done now. You got to be out of the trade and look for. Unfortunately, I don't have a buy in here because there's no real kind of telltale area where like, yeah, it's a good level. But I think it's important to note. I mean, this is where we open. We open up high for the week. So if we go for the week from high to low, right? You can see we literally just bounce off that 50. Is there a zone there? Yeah. Was it tested? Yeah. Was it one that I'd be like, this is awesome? No. But again, this is an example of algo traders stepping into a futures market that it's, after a big run down in price, European session sent a straight down. And at 9:30, when the US session came on, look at that. We started the reverse with profit taking. So again, kind of a telltale, but we were already short. This would have been a target at best. Looking for where those traders were going to come in, and they did. But am I willing to take this one and suddenly say that's it? Now it's a buy. We're going long off the 50. Not so much. Not so much. Especially after the day we had yesterday. Okay. And again, big day up, and then we start to roll back. Now gold. Gold, we talked about kind of a level yesterday morning, super early. European sent it down, and really since the European pushed down at 5 o'clock, U.S. market opened what 9:30, like right in here. Even with Powell's speech, right, about 0.25 and inflation and that, we're at the exact same spot. We really haven't moved. Like this is the 9:30 candle right here. We're literally almost at the exact same spot right now, almost at the exact same price. We're actually about to hit it. We're off by just a tiny, tiny bit, right here. Here, I'll move this back so you guys can see it. That one's out. 9:30 candle is right here. There's your 9:30 open. We're literally at the exact same price. So unfortunately, with gold, I would say all we're trying to do right now with gold is look for shorting opportunities. Again, everybody's raising interest rates, starting to crush inflation. Gold is something that you should have got into before when we were at 1800, not when we're at 1930. Right now, I don't know that I'd use that again. It pushed it pretty deep. It could be potentially a level. But right now, I would say that, again, next time we get a decent top or maybe even, we'll see if we can get another push forward. We look to short gold every opportunity we get. Whenever there's a big pop in gold, we look for a base and then we look to take it short. We don't have one right now. We're in 24 hours. We've done nothing. It's in the same exact spot. So, unfortunately, there's just not a lot of opportunity in gold right now. Silver picking up a little bit. Silver, we had a level marked off up here. We talked about 25.45. You can see at 11 o'clock, we hit it over here on the first. Hit it again. Yesterday morning, we were sitting right here. And all we did is we came up, we grabbed it, and we're going short again. So, but again, in the last 2 days, in the last 48 hours, is there a trend in silver? Not really. Not really. It's just more or less kind of channeling sideways. I do like the level down here though. So again, not I know not as many people trade silver, but if you are looking to trade it, it is a level of basing. It was a nice pop and a little base and a little run. We talked about it, and again, it hit the top of it. It hit again. It hit it again. It hit it again. Definitely an area of buyers, but those buyers are going to evaporate soon. So this could be one of those ones. If we get a clean break, right? We get some basing in this level, and we get a clean break. This one could also be a runner to the downside with one of those kind of lightning bolt kind of confirmation entry type patterns, right? A break of an old zone of buyers becomes an area of sellers. Look for it to come down, base, pull back, established level of risk, and look for it to short, probably heading back down into this range. Okay. Let's see. VIX is more or less holding. It's down a little bit from where we were yesterday. Dollar is spiking up a little bit. I'm wondering if Powell has made any comments yet. No, just Messer's comments, and again, hers are pretty weak. And just so you guys understand too, the reason why we're seeing this, and again, look, U.S. factory orders in January 1.4% versus 0.7%, so even double. So understand, advisors tell us the talks of Russia have started. Yet we knew that they were supposed to start at 7 this morning. I guess they started at 8. The reason why they're using the Ukraine as an excuse is because if they guess wrong or they go at the rate that they probably should go at, and the economy crashes, and she even says we're gonna have to do multiple, we're gonna have to raise interest rates multiple times to actually get it under control. What they're trying to do is keep the stock market from crashing. Now, that's not their main focus, and they say our job is the economy. All signs of the economy are great. They're not sure what's going to happen in the Ukraine, but it's kind of like, hey, listen, you use COVID as an excuse forever. We're now at a situation where we're at 40-year high inflation. It stands to get worse. It's broadening into other things, but you don't want to be on the Fed board when the market crashes. Like, you don't want to be the one responsible. Okay, especially right now in 2022 with elections, with a kind of historically low, you know, a low presidential rating right now, particularly when it comes to the economy. You crash the stock market and we go back to the 401k became a 201k joke because the Fed's raising interest rates that are too high because, again, we're at 40-year high inflation. There's a lot of political implications. So that's kind of why she's being a little bit more conservative with her statements right now. But I love it. We're not going to go too strong, but we're going to do it 9 times in a row. Like, okay, so we have another year and a half of growing inflation. Oh, that's going to be wonderful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So let's look at the indices. Let's see if there was any setups at the open today. Let's see. The 915 candle is right here. So it looks like it had pulled up. And again, it looks like it grabbed this zone instead. And again, this is where there's a zone here, zone here. There's multiple zones in here. It looks like that one's out. I can just pull that one off. We're going to pull price here. Yeah, you can see when I grab that top level, here's your 845, here's your 9, here's your 915. So it actually looked like it started to move a little bit early. 930 was sitting here. It already started to pull back again. So based off of the 15-minute kind of opening candle strategy, would not have been a setup for this morning. It would have already started the move just in advance ahead of time. So it didn't really work out. Now, I will say, I do like the fact that we have all this basing right here. And I do like that there's kind of a push. I'm kind of curious. I'd like to bring this down. We're going to set an alert on that one. Okay. What I'm looking at right now is, again, it's 10:30. If we do not reverse off of this level, again, with Powell speaking, again, if he's a little more hawkish today, that's bad for the overall indices. And again, they've all started to roll into the red except the YM. This was a base, and it was a top. You can see we at the top of it. We ate a lot of the buyers up. Ate even more of the buyers up, and we've pushed all the way down to here. And now with us approaching again, this has the ability for a short position this afternoon. And again, does it make sense? Sure. Oops. Come on, sit right there. Let's see. Does it make sense for a short? I'd say yeah. Because if he was dovish yesterday, hawkish today about raising rates and the need for inflation and controlling inflation, that technically is bad for the indices, as well as that gets the indices in a good position for tomorrow to go up on positive news. So kind of makes sense. It's a break of 43.64, right? to the downside. NQ. Let's see. NQ. Yeah, 9 o'clock. It had pushed through. It formed its base at 9:15, and the 9:30 candle had already reversed on us. So, kind of the same thing. It looks like it grabbed that level. Yeah, it grabbed that level, not the most recent one from yesterday. Well, I guess actually in reality, let's see. One, all this drama. Yeah, so that probably wasn't the best one. But yeah, so it looks like the 9 unfortunately is the same thing. Look, 9:30 is right here. So it had already started to pull back from the 9:30, so we wouldn't have got an entry on that one either. We would have missed that one too. Um, this one kind of has a similar thing. Those are out from yesterday. This one kind of has a similar run. Similar, but we're starting to break through. Um, it's hmm. It's similar. I'd wait for a pullback a little bit more. I'd like to see if this forms its bottom and comes back up. But again, kind of the same trade as the ES, right? We have a level that we had a base off of. It was a bottom, a bottom, a bottom, a bottom. It finally broke through. The question is, are we going to get a pullback of any sort? Are we going to? Is it going to come a little bit lower? Are we going to get the pullback? And then could we end on a red day today? Right. Similar. I think I like it more in the ES. YM also pulling back, and again, this one did the same thing. 8:30. Again, this wasn't the first hit. This was one, two. Really, here's three. But if it wasn't three there, there's your three. So I mean, this is hit number four. You expected it to break. Um, this one, yeah, this one would have been kind of the same, kind of the same thing. 9:15 pushed away. 9:30 open and pulled up. You may have gotten short this one. Um, Regardless, I would say that this one has the same type of short right here. Right, same level of basing. We've pushed through. We've pushed through. We pushed through. We pushed through, and this is a pretty nice rally. And again, right now it's the strongest of all of them. Right? But again, talking about any type of transportation should be able to, it's the only one that is in the green right now. We start to go red, everything may continue to accelerate like we're seeing with the others. But, it's got a little bit more room to run. It's going to have to get a bit more negative. But the same idea, a basing level, been chunked up and chunked up and chunked up and chunked up. If we break through, this would be a short coming through 33,759. Looking for targets potentially down here at the 33,552. And again, profit wise, yeah, it makes sense. Kind of, there's a little bit of a hiccup here, but really no solid candles until all the way down at 34,458. So not bad. And then Russell, we know Russell's been the weakest. Russell 9:15. Yeah, Russell started the turn early as well. And again, this was a level that we said, hey, it's been up here a few times. Look for a new top. Unfortunately, it reversed right away on us. Where did it get to? Did it get to? Yeah, it probably grabbed this. Let me bring it to a 30 just so I can see it. Yeah, it grabbed this level. Again, not a level I'd want to take because look, it's pushed it to here to the brink, and that's exactly it. Just kind of hit it and then collapsed. So yeah, Russell, we knew something was going to happen with the Russell. We talked about an area where we were switching our focus, but not really an entry because of the way that it entered, and it entered twice pretty deeply and then base before you expected a break, and all it did was get a cheaper price to take this one short. So this is from yesterday. Let's see. Curious where. From here. Yeah, that's why we have the hiccup right now is because of the 50 percenters. So we'll see. A lot of the 50 percenters are getting really, really nervous right now. They're like, yes, time to get long. And they're looking at this going, oh my God, is this catching a falling knife? We're getting into the 50%, right? And again, it is 10:30. It is a common reversal time. There are some buyers sitting in here. So man, those fib traders are like, is this it? Is this the bottom for the day? Right? And then they're seeing it go red. They're like, oh no, crap, go lower, go lower, go lower. Um, drop it down to 15. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's a weird zone. It is kind of a very funky zone in there. Um, Again, a mirror bottom, which is not we're not interested in. This one is decent. It's okay. This little zone right here, which is right below, right? But it needed to go down to grab the 50s to find buyers. Oof! I'll tell you right now, if this breaks, there'll be a lot of people losing some money if this can break through the 61.8. So, and again, there's nothing. The 61.8 is not holding anything. There's literally the hiccup at 50, and then nothing to 61.8. Really, there's nothing until 86 or 78.6 down below. But yeah, there's a lot of shorts coming into the, or I'm sorry, a lot of longs coming into the Russell right now. So Yeah, watch out for that. A little bit of a trap. Um, Again, let me see. Has Powell said anything that's noteworthy yet? Um, oh, here you go. Rising commodity prices will drive inflation higher. There will be an upward pressure on inflation for some time. Okay, great. It's a great labor market for workers, especially at the lower end. He just said we can't raise interest rates because of the labor market. And now, again, in his bipolarness, it's a great labor market. Okay. It will be appropriate to continue raising rates throughout the year. And again, ra- raise rates. People do not like him. But yeah, look at that. Whew. Upward pressure on inflation for some time, right? It's a great labor market for workers, especially on the lower end. Yeah, they're getting paid more. That's awesome. But if they're going to continue having to pay, again, lower end workers are affected by inflation a lot more. Not necessarily the pay, but ugh, ugh. I love this. It'll be appropriate to continue raising interest rates throughout the year. So he's trying his best to say that they're gonna have to raise, guys. We know that it's there, but oof, man, we'll see. He's getting set up here. So yeah, fun, fun, fun. Um, yeah, God forbid when they hit him with a zinger when they want him to explain what that is. Yeah, mm, oof. Go fib. Go. Let's see. Let's see if man, all the fib computers are like buy, buy, buy. Go higher, go higher. But man, how do comments like this? Look, 1024, 1025, 1026, 1030. It will be appropriate to continue raising interest rates throughout the year. God forbid he mentions how many in a row. What we need to get to. It should start to accelerate a bit. So yeah, yeah, we'll see. And like I said, there's a little tiny level there, but it's kind of eaten up at this point. So fun, fun, fun. But there's two out of the three. Like I said, these all, again, they all kind of took off at 9 o'clock, a little bit before the 9:30, trades. Unfortunately, it sucks when that happens. That 9:30 is where the collapse came in. Instead of getting a pullback, they had already taken off. So, what are you gonna do? Let's see. Is oil rallying back? Yeah, look at that. So there we go. Oil is also on its way back down again. So we'll see how it ends out. All right, with that, let's go ahead and do our drawing for the day. It is now 10:37. Went a little bit late today. I actually got to run a ton of errands today. All right, who do we got here? We got Briggs with his 5, and again, Briggs is going for number 3, 250. This is where he gets on the first page. We're going Lattimore on the program. Seat at the table, starting defense. Everybody else is in with 1. I think we got everybody in here. Will, Debbie, Marina, Ernest. Yep, we're good. All right, let's close it down. No Silent today, but Silent said he was working, so no Briggs. No, it's funny. You guys are rooting again. Come on, man. Briggs is on page 2, and you guys are like, don't win, don't win, don't win. And Briggs is in for 8. So he's blowing a lot of. He used 70 pip chips to win today. So if he wins, he used 70 to make 250. Technically, that's still above a 1-3. So it's not horrible, and the odds are stacked in his favor. We haven't seen anybody go 8 for such a long time. Winner of today's drawing is Briggs. And again, what does it say? He had a 42% chance of winning. So the odds were definitely stacked in his favor. 42 is obviously not guaranteed. But again, using 70 to acquire what? 250? We're close, a little over 2 to 1. So let's see. Let's see how far Briggs popped himself down there. All right. So let's do Briggs. Let's see how much did it cost him. He was in position 40, right? He was in position 40. So let's go down on page 2. Let's give him his 250, and let's see if he's on page 1 now. So let's do our search again. Look at, it says position 25. I guess because it doesn't jump. There he goes. He made position 25. He made it to the table. He made it to page 1. It is official. Briggs is on page 1. The question is, can he hold on to it or not? Or will he, be going to, the second group right away? He's got a little bit of room to run. He's got to make up what? 12 more points to be able to get a little bit of padding in there. And then he's got Mitch right up there with 50. Right, so he's got a couple stacked up right in front of him, but can he make it a top 10? Gallo's up there as well, so we haven't seen Gallo for a while either. So, yeah, all right. So with that said, good job today. Rigged. I didn't win. It's rigged. I know. Ernest has the but yes, seat at the table. Seat at the table, baby. He's gonna go outside and start doing the Latimer, seat at the table, banging his head, and then it's Let's see. Does he say anything else? Come on, pal. Storage withdrawal, Nord 2. This is what I wanted to see. Maybe wound up website statement. Nord Stream 1. I love it. It's so funny. I was like, wait, what? What? Can't believe you said that. So yeah, we'll get more headlines. But anyway, with that said, don't forget, non-farm should be a big release tomorrow. Should be a market mover. Early today, I expected kind of more of a red day today, in preparation for a green day tomorrow. Again, it's just the market positioning things around. So with that said, good trading today. Watch those trades, and like I said, look for some big headlines. I think we're going to get more out of Powell today. I don't think he's done with his headlines yet. And again, look for pre-positioning in the European session for tomorrow morning. So with that said, take care, man. Currencies have flattened out. Even the pound yen now is up only 33. So you guys take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.